Hello and welcome to the South Bless channel. Today we're going to be talking about possibly the most dystopian AI that exists in Europe currently, and it is called the Think Family Database. So let's get straight into it. So if you go up and you Google Think Family Database, after the adverts, it's going to be the first thing that pops up. So this is the Bristol City Council website. So we'll go on there first and take their specific wording from it, right? So as you can see, this was set up from 2015. Well, I'll just read quickly verbatim what it says. So, Insight Bristol is a Bristol City Council data team. It was set up in 2015 in response to the National Troubled Families Programme, now known as the Supporting Families Programme. Insight Bristol uses information from safeguarding partnership agencies to support vulnerable families across Bristol. By combining this information, we can work together to better support the city's most vulnerable people. Since 2015, Insight Bristol has developed some innovative products, including Think Family Database. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So the data collected and collated by Insight Bristol is securely held in the Think Family Database. So basically, all of the information collected from all of their programs is held in this thing called the Think Family Database. The information is approximately 55,000 families across Bristol and is pulled from the following sources. So, firstly, let's just clarify. That means that this information is taken by 55,000 Bristol families who never consented to this. Let's go on quickly. The information is from approximately 55,000 families across Bristol and is pulled from the following sources: Bristol City Council, Child Social Care, Early Help, Education, Early Years, Children's Centres, Housing, Youth Justice System. So what we have right there is education. Look how broad that term is, education. So right now in Bristol, if you're being educated, your data is being sent. And what data? Well, we may get to that. Spoilers, we won't get to that. So when it says early years, I'm actually not sure what specific entity that's talking about. So I don't know if that's like reception. I don't know if that is to do more with like medical. So like when children are born and like the information that is collected around those things, blood tests, the like. I'm not too sure. But we got child social care, we got early years, we got early help, we got children's center, we got youth justice system. So effectively, again, a whole bunch of entities surrounding young people where in some of these situations, it's probably not even possible for consent to be given. Because if some of these young people don't have any guardians, then how would they give consent to their information being pulled into this database? Housing. Now we're going to get to that in a little bit, but housing. So, I mean, I'll be completely honest. Out of all of that list, I think if it was just housing, I think I could justify it, just in the sense of knowing people who are having housing issues and how quickly that leads to snowballing problems such as drugs and prostitution and that kind of stuff. So yeah, housing, but it gets peak as well because there's a different part of that. But anyway, we'll keep it moving. Avon and Somerset Police. Now, okay, so what I'll say is this, right? I'm working with a university on a project now that's going to finish in June, who have been part of research and trying to get the information on this. And I worked with them a couple of years ago on a program specifically about this database. So in this video, this is a part one because I don't want to say too many specific things just so that I can make a general video, put it out there. Then as specifics come up, can make specific videos. As new things come up, can make new videos. But what I will say is that as far as I'm aware, we'll just say allegedly to be safe, this whole thing was created by an ex-Fed and not only an ex-police officer, but an ex-chief of police. So somebody who has been involved in all of the isms and schisms and the, capitalist biases and the racial prejudices and the overall marginalization of anybody who's considered a them, somebody who's at the top of that chain, is now got some of the most sensitive information about children. Doesn't sit well. So we got the Department of Education, Department for Work and Pensions, South Central and West Commissioning Support Unit. I'm not actually quite sure what that is. Bernardo's and NHS. So I think it's fair to say that if you have all this information on an individual, that's a lot of information, right? It's probably an amount of information that's only comparable to somebody who owns a popular social media site. For anybody who's had to navigate any aspects of these systems, in the UK anyway, you'll know that communication internally is terrible. You can have an interaction with a Fed in one city and go to another city and try and bob and weave a little bit. So I say that to say this database probably connects the police forces better than the police forces' internal communication on particular issues. So some people would say, well, is that not a good thing? Well, only if it's good people at the top. And their behavior has shown, and their lack of transparency has shown indications towards possible agendas, negligence, and a path to malpractice, let's say. So this is, again, I'll link these, but this is the Bristol.gov's own description. So as I've said, it is 55,000 families have had their data scraped without consent. So next, Insight Bristol. This is the people in charge of it, I think. Insight Bristol supporting. So this is Insight Bristol. Now, I don't want to take the piss. This isn't a joke. And it also, I don't want the sentiment to roll over onto any other individuals. And also, what I'm about to say is not definitive, yeah? But there's something uncomfortable about a company who thinks that they have the insight, the knowledge, the wisdom, the experience to take the data from 55,000 families in Bristol across their police records, their health records, their early years in development, their housing, but they had to use Wix to build the website. Not only did they have to use Wix to build the website, I'm going to go out on a limb and say the fact that it says this shit at the top, that probably means that they're using the free version. Again, like I said, I don't want this to be too definitive, but to me, that suggests a lack of care. To me, that suggests a lack of resources. To me, that suggests a lack of technical knowledge. It's just me. I haven't gone through this website. This is the first. Damn. So next thing, 2021. Again, like SB's down right now. I'm pretty sure. Do you know what I mean? I didn't. I want to make something new. Probably want. Like I've done this beforehand. You know, like left it for a year, but it's 2026 now, and this hasn't been updated since 2021. And I know they've been having conversations. So let's just see what they're even saying. Oh, so this is possibly. I don't know. It's possible that there's more there. Think family legal gateways. Can't find the page. Can't find the page. Do you know what? I don't even. That's just super disappointing. I don't even want to go that much further because this is just going to be a part one. This is just to get the information out there and to get people to start having a conversation. This is what I will say. The Bristol Cable, did a report on this in September of 2023. So there was a report that the Guardian did. I went to go onto that, but as you can see here, it then tries to make you pay. So I downloaded it quickly here. This article is more than 2 years old. So criminal justice and anti-racist campaigners have raised concern over an app being used by schools in Bristol to monitor and profile pupils and their families. One of the concerns campaigners have is that the Think Family Education app includes analyzing which children could be at risk of exposure to criminality, which they argue risk leading to more discrimination against pupils from minority, ethnic, or working class backgrounds. So that was the information which I got about what the outcomes actually were. Was that marginalized communities got even more marginalized. I'm going to make some more videos on this. Last thing I'll say, based on internal stuff that I know, is that when the research was being initially conducted, they were actually open to it. They were open to the scrutinizing. They were open in a sense of like wanting to upgrade the application that they wanted to, they were up for the scrutiny. Whereas it seems that it changed management at a certain point, and that not so much after a certain point. So this is the Think Family Education app. It's currently in use. If you have families in Bristol, please, at this moment, the only call to action is just awareness. Just if you have children, did you know that this thing is being used right now? And for you just to have like conversations, like if you're in school, ask what relationship do they have to the app, doctors, centers like Bernardo's, like just fill out the conversation. If I didn't miss it, I heard that there was going to be another article coming out in the Bristol Cable in December. I haven't seen it. If I've missed it, I will report back on it. If it's about to come up, I report on it then. So yeah, that is the only call to action for this, is just speak to people, specifically those who have children who live in Bristol, find out, do they know if this thing exists? If they've been affected negatively, contact Bristol Cable, and you can use that as a way of filtering through. I'm not going to mention the particular university this time. I'll mention it at another point where I'm a little bit more prepared with their articles and stuff like that. But yeah, like, share, subscribe. And yes, this video was sponsored by me because I'm going to be releasing a game on Nintendo Switch and for holographic displays. It's actually going to be one of the first of its kind. So I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. I hope that you're having a blessed day, and I hope that you have a blessed year.
Go, finish the go.